Good morning. Another beautiful morning from the majestic mountains of Panama. And I'm coming to you from all of Central and South America, depending on at what time. Timing being everything in the fight of life. Certain times are very beneficial to be in certain places, whereas just in a little bit more time in that same place, it's not so beneficial. Right? I've been in Colombia since 2014, and it's been this hidden, secret, excellent, higher quality of life. And then everybody found out about it, and all of a sudden, the whole place is full, prices are rising. This experience is it's less quality a little bit because it's more production now. It's more mass production, money reason, money incentive, less culture, less love, less artistic interest and intention involved as the money intention grows. I started getting into the Rudolf Steiner book 2 episodes ago, right? And I really not doing too many videos here. They actually are getting lots of attention on this particular experiment channel. If you're gonna do something, nothing to it but to do it, number one, but don't do anything unless you're gonna do it right, number two. And as I come into this technological sphere from a completely biological sphere, I've found that I'm off and I don't know what I'm doing in many different avenues when I was much more technically savvy before my biological endeavor, right? And it's just very, very interesting the way the mind changes, the brain changes over time, in age, in experience, how you actually do lose skills, gain new ones, lose certain strengths, gain new ones, lose certain ambitions, interests, drives, and disciplines, unless you keep ripping on that stuff every single day. Then it starts to add up, all those blade sharpenings. People are saying, oh, wow, that blade's actually really sharp. You need to be careful of that one particular side of the entirety, right? And that's the respect that you would naturally have out here in the jungle, the law of the jungle. So we're going to talk a few things this morning. The law of the jungle, the book of the law. You can look the book of the law up. It's what we live now. It has an interesting author. It's interestingly of a very cloudy root, right? Who knows what the intentions are there? Everything related to that author, and I'll let you look this up and we won't get stuck there, because we're going to talk about cultivation of clairvoyance, of being able to see just a little bit deeper, or maybe it's just strong intuition. It kind of really doesn't matter which mouth sound we apply to it. The reality of its functionality either exists or it doesn't exist, and there's one way to find that out for ourselves, right? And it will be nutritionally, okay? It will be spiritually as well, because let's just say you're telling lies all day, you're never going to find the truth. You're never going to find the truth about anything for yourself. You live in this liar, false construct, false reality place. It's full of criticism, which specifically blocks you. Being a critical, negative, exalted personality, and I talk about that in the last episode without referencing the root material, the root wisdom, the real wizard, the real kung fu master on the top of the hill, Rudolf Steiner, Rudolf Steiner is the author of the Biodynamic Agriculture, in which I am a student of. He predicted all kinds of incredible things. He predicted that the control freaks would use I'm not going to use the word because we got to be ninjas here, would use to deteriorate the soul. He actually predicted that. I didn't even realize this until the last couple of weeks. But I definitely had this clairvoyant intuition thing going on when it came to the soul. For that reason, I'm a pure blood. Still, till this day. But the control freaks, they're not stopping with that. They're not. They want to spray it on everything. They want to get this graphene conductor that's going to make you less independent, less clairvoyant, less intuitive, more guided by the lies that are piped into through the television. Now you must listen to the voodoo breaker. Netflix, drugs, alcohol, bottled drinks, bottled peanut butter. If they want to put a contaminant in a whole bunch of Peter Pans to knock out half guys with this new experimental poison. Oh, what happened? Right? If they want to calcify the clairvoyance or concrefy or whatever mouth sound you want to put to it, if they want to block the cultivation of this clairvoyance so that people can be controlled, right? The control freaks will do anything to leverage other individuals into their schemes, into their own life and quality of life. As Keir Karlberg says, and all the experts on this say, they need this external supply, these deceivers. Certainly those who have leveraged most people into their own labor excellently. I'm talking a little bit of politics and dynamics that are coming out everywhere now. As Epstein says, I represent the Rothschilds, I'm sure you know, who are on record saying, if a country allows me to issue its currency, I care not who makes its laws. I control them. As Henry Kissinger says, control the utilities, control the nation, control the food supply, control the people. And look at what we're dealing with now, and look at how that food supply, you're never going to become clairvoyant. You're never going to be able to really dissect what's going on. You're never going to be a wizard yourself. These are not winners that want to see you win, like Jesus was. They are losers who want to see you lose. They are crabs in a barrel, they're worse than crabs. They made the barrel for the crabs. They self-exalted themselves, or from this something super sinister exalted them. And if you've had enough life experience, diverse life experience, you'll know there's real evil out there. There's real evil right down the street. You know, I'll put the link to it and I talk about it again. But 50 Cent's oldest son and his mother, who's a hag, gold-digging child abuser of a severe level that has robbed this poor boy of adventure of a whole nother level. This kid would have had a Jedi King experience, but instead, at 30-something years old, he's still there on Team Mom, the lady that lied to him and psychologically abused and manipulated him to control him and keep him under her as her life raft for money, for little bits of money, for support, for supply, for sickness, because she's sick. No one should ever do that to a child. But that's all of us. We're all alienated children. We're being forced into conflict. We're being weaponized by lies on both sides. Most, we know 50 Cent is a very honest, upstanding, hardworking guy who wrote a self-development book with a self-development author from a completely different culture, so he could really offer this this conscious expansion to the people that following him. This is a good, conscient, and I would say also clairvoyant person. And there's also clips where you can look him up, and he's saying, yeah, people say I'm crazy, and I say, yup, I'm crazy enough to believe that I could do it. Very, very important. I want everyone watching this video, to believe that you can do it. Believe that you can find the truth. Believe that you can churn for cream. Believe that it's brick by brick, one step in front of the other, and eventually you got a lot of bricks stacked up. It's taking the time, it's investing into the long game, it's being crazy enough to think that you can accomplish anything, that you can overcome the most insane evils. He can make $5 billion companies, this 50 Cent guy, but he couldn't get his son out of the witchcraft, because there's this active intelligence that's fucking... Society should be able to recognize this and step in and jail this person, but instead society incentivizes this and gets her paid. And there's not demonic hooks in society itself. And they've got both sides. Communism, Karl Marx writes, the bourgeois, and the bourgeois is made inside of a communism, a communal, everyone's equal construct. But here's where the bourgeois surfaces, and capitalism is the same thing. They just put new mouth sounds on it, and to confuse you and to think that and to make you think as though you're on the other side of it. And then inside of capitalism, what do we have? What are we finding out? The left and the right, they're both owned by the same agenda, the same interest, the same intention at the end of the day, whatever the individual names of the constituents that are battling for that to happen. The control freaks who believe that they're better than you, who believe that for whatever reason you exist to serve them. The golden rule is not their operational curriculum. All their complete intention is to maintain where they're wiser than you, where they set the tone, where they're the gospel, where they're where they're the dispensation of interest and information. So we really gotta be careful what people are, if you're handed a plate of food now, you should be thinking about how much better that plate of food can be. Boy, would you be surprised. Speaking of, until it gets to the nutritional diversity, correct baseline diet construction level, you can get some time-tested. Ashwagandha is the king of herbs. This has been taken and cultivated for energy boost, mental clarity, all the things I'm talking about. There are nutritional elements that can help you get into this groove. But you need to be doing your stuff. You need to be stretching. You need to be hitting the gym. You need to be running. You need to be checking all of these boxes, or you just don't have that level of integrity that's necessary to be your highest self, which means you're not going to make your highest decisions. Oh, it's just a nuclear compoundment of failure when you don't keep that mark. So everybody who's around you who's saying, you can watch this Netflix, don't worry about it, come on, sit here and eat this popcorn with us, all that All those people, they are not cohesive to your destiny. They are not connective to your destiny. They're distractions. They're derailments. They're deceivers. CoQ10 is very, very necessary. I'm recommending these two right now to all my guys. I'm like, look, can you get your stuff in check? Can you get a carbon activated, gravity fed water filter who's getting the chemicals out? Because those have to have something to do with the reason that so many people are so programmed and so lost and so empty inside, when there's the other road is right freaking here. But you've got to do the work. You've got to churn to get the cream. You've got to investigate to find the truth. You've got to care enough. You can't be another chaotic slime ball like these people who operate by that system, by that operational curriculum, modality, and most important, intentional alignment. You can see the trajectory of people once you identify what their intentions are. You can see the trajectory of you with them if you make clear decisions by going, this is beyond psychology here. We're going to go out to nature. We're going to ponder. We're going to pray. We're going to do what's necessary. We're going to do what's necessary. Don't test me. To keep ourselves safe, to keep what we're responsible for safe. She likes to run off. She likes to explore up here in the mountains of Panama, where there's fertile ants, the most deadliest snakes. They're aggressive. They're all over the place up here, right? Just outside the clearings, sometimes on clearings. They are chasing. They're living in a whole other world outside of what we're doing. So sometimes they don't really understand what's going on over here. And it's that lack of understanding that creates problems, right? And so understanding, patience, giving things their own freedom and time, even though there's control freaks over there, because it's all challenges our opportunities to build strength. Sometimes carrying people, sometimes pulling people out of the fire is just clipping them from being able to pull themselves out of the fire, which is, in the end, not good. Maybe you should just sit there and let them burn for a minute. You know what I mean? And then, once it's about, but maybe the fire gets too big and they're so deep inside of it, you've gone in there and you've burned yourself a bunch of times, and you have to make the call that this person is a product of their own decision making, and those consequences are something that they own. And there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to step in on this. It's too late, and these things happen. And you really don't see a person able to turn themselves around. There's certain situations, just like the fire that I'm describing. My mother is 75 years old. I talk about her a lot. To be 75 years old, continuously lying, continuously child abusing, now on your grandchildren with all this liar bullshit, just to cause pain and division because you're unhappy, because you want to be a control freak rather than a cultivator and a connector. You're a conflict maker and a drama and a liar and a child abuser. And that's never made amends. And has never and it continues to lie to a young person today. When you're in that level of, I would say, disconnection from goodness, when you're at that level of deceiver yourself, robbing this child of incredible experience and character, and watching the effects of that robbery being written all over this poor young person year after year. And then you're going to the deathbed, and you know you have done all kinds of child abuse. See, even I watch serial killer interviews that Piers Morgan have been doing lately, and we're just chit-chatting now, right? On this beautiful morning. But it's like, a lot of these guys, they continue to lie. They're looking at the opportunity to profess innocence. A lot of these guys are, very few of them are completely honest. And even fewer are remorseful. Now, I want to take the opportunity to really make an apology and show a genuine change. That's very, 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 very rare. And what I'm saying is, one, and this should be able to keep you on track more, is these people who seriously slip and cross big lines in that path. Well, it just, you turn around and it's going to take some real decision making and follow-up action every single day, and distraction snuffing. No, okay, I hear you, kind of, because my headphones are in, but I'm not going to really keep that close to my heart, because it's cancerous and I don't want it spreading to my heart. Very logical, very simple, very analytical. A relationship with nature will have you understand everything better and not be so confused and so stretched and thin and confused and unable to determine and discern things. All right, well, I'm gonna keep this one a little bit shorter here. So that I'm gonna stay on this. We're gonna come together every day. We're gonna see that we have options to lead people from conflict into supporting nature. If humanity's stupid for a minute, well, humanity's been stupid on nature too. We've got a big role to play in serving nature and sharing this video and looking through the links below and becoming better people, becoming committed, taking 20 minutes in the morning to really magnetize that positivity about us and have a contemplation and consideration of the direction and the distractions that are out there that could derail us from that destiny path of truth, which is a hard path to stay on. It's a tightrope, it's really, really, truly a tightrope, and it's a balancing act. It is. And it's a talent and a skill that must be cultivated in order to continue over high heights and long distances on this tightrope. And I wish you the best in your, it's because every stroke on this thing is going to affect its magnetization. So if you want to be strong, it's really got to be a science. Your life should be serious enough that it's scientific, and that now it's getting those results and refining those results and bettering those results, because you're not just a fucking disaster shit show Jerry Springer person like the TV wants you to be, like the other people want you to be. A gerbil wheel spinning, tax paying, but that's a figment of imagination too. That is just an action to keep you in the mental gerbil wheel, because they, again, as I started, they print and issue currency, all of them. That's pretty good. That's an evil accomplishment that only a clairvoyant exalted evil intelligence could have pulled off probably didn't come just from one maniacal family all by themselves, no other ingredients involved. It's probably a very dynamic, much more than meets the eye, insanely powerful and smart situation that's keeping this, as I've said before in other videos, cup and ball game going. When a lot of us have it already figured it out, but we'll sit there and watch it. Maybe we'll give it a shot just because there's a crowd there, you know. And this guy doesn't care about the balls. He doesn't care about the table. He just cares about what he's able to get in your head about this stupid scenario. Of course, the ball players make millions and millions of dollars. They're keeping your attention. You know what I mean? People live and die by a ball game, by ball teams, I mean, they do. Talk about a perfect installation of intelligence, capping, you know? If they can keep you stuck on some stupid craziness, on a game that they made up, right? With some stupid, like the dumbest components, but the most fucking gassed up effects. That's great. That's some crazy black magic right there. When you really get a space shuttle image of it, stand back far enough, you can realize that a city from a space shuttle is a cancer microscopically. Oh, look at that. Same exact structure. That's interesting. And in these cities, man, there's some toxic Avengers in the city. Out here, toxic Avenger can't last. There's no purpose, there's no point, there's no place. You know, out in nature. The real gym, 20 times tougher than the jungle gym. And then the jungle gym, 20 times tougher than the... And hey, listen, I'm a desert cat, so... I love the desert. I really appreciate being here in the jungle. It's amazing. Very dense, insane agriculture will help you do your own. It's time to do plan B, right? You're not bothered until you got your own agriculture. You would be very surprised at how little you've got to liquidate out there to get very big down here. We help people do it all the time. We've got turnkey stuff ready to go. Get the no-brainer right now, delivered tomorrow, nutritional elements. And we've got about 12 of them on the site. All time tested, proven stuff, CMOS, get your minerals, your iodine, all that kind of stuff, right? Make yourself a superhuman through superhuman action, superhuman intention, superhuman nutrition. And contemplation is superhumanness, flow state to flow state, contemplate, orientation to that goal. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Optimize yourself to be a white knight in life. And then once that happens, you will have the eyeballs to see. Build yourself into get your studying done. You can study a bunch of dumb stuff, or you can go right to the heavy work. I love you guys. I'm always really thinking of everybody, as Bob Marley says. If I can help plenty of people, then okay, this is a good life. If I can't help plenty of people, I don't want this life. I will extend that. I would say, don't forget about nature. If if you've had enough of people, dogs, horses, nature, there's so many. Animal rescue, there's so much service to life, enhancement of life out here. Why would we ever destroy it? Why would we ever dominate it? Why wouldn't we enhance its freedom? Your focus is your freedom. Nobody can focus. All they got it, like I said, they just have to distract and confuse. Dear Jesus Christ, I pray from the bottom of my heart that we can stay focused, that we can stay dedicated, that we can discern between deception and honesty and lies and goodness and brightness, that we can have the strength to pull ourselves out of the fire, that we can cultivate and build the strength in ourselves and everybody around us to be good and great, and through these intentions, actions, and orientations, find the most fulfilling, beautiful lives. Making you proud, our number one intention. We say these things thankfully and lovingly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And you guys keep it tight. Keep yourself a winner that wants to see everybody win. Keep the dumb, derogatory, directional beings from dragging you down. Don't let anybody drag you down. Don't get in their car. Don't walk down the street with them. You know, you get in the wrong car on the wrong day at the wrong time, and you're a tragedy. This is avoided through the discernment of the other individuals in the situation. If you're running with bozos, if you're running with bums, if you're running with clowns, if you're running with Jerry Springer people, it is a matter of time before that comes out, that catches up to you. If you're running with Jedis, you're just straight. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not building, it's destroying. Much love.